Hi guys, Paul here,
And Mike?
back with another post Maniacs Meat hangout of goodness. We're gonna have a fire here and all the good stuff, but while the day is still good, might as well go. We got kind of cut off because of battery life. Things got a little weird at the end, and they weren't weird, but they got cut off and it made it sound weird, which is funny. The blossom thing.
Yeah, the blossom talk.
No, that's not what it meant. And then the phone shut off. That was pretty funny. But we're back. We're back here again, live over at my dad's woods. Here we go, just having a good time. We're going to do a little bit of an Evil Dead post talk, and probably talk about a little other things. So please comment. You're a lot closer, so we'll be able to see more of your comments too.
Also, any suggestions of films that
if you guys,
about
Ashy Slashy hit me pretty hard and cut my shirt before I left because I guess I didn't interview him long enough. So that was a rough moment. But other than that, yeah. So Evil Dead, you said you had more to talk about.
Yeah, so much more. Well, first off, I would like to say I'm wearing this fantastic. I don't know. I hope everybody that's watching can see it. My Evil Fred T-shirt, which obviously Evil Dead, but also Freddy and Jason on.
We're gonna have a beer from the Licking Hole Creek Brewing Company called Redneck Wedding, a Kentucky Bourbon Barrel Quad Ale, coming in at a very sessionable 13.2. So there you go. Let's get us nice and fucked up because.
So yeah, Evil. I mean that franchise. Like I said, there's so many things you can really say about it. We very lightly only got into Army of Darkness, I think, because of
time constraints
and things. But I know I was talking to you just a little while ago about one of the things I always thought was interesting, as well as like when we were talking about continuity between Evil Dead and Evil Dead 2, was you watch Evil Dead, you see the book, it looks like a flesh tone book and everything, like it's a slightly different appearance. Throws it in the fire, you see it start to burn and like get the charred look on it, and then you see it in Evil Dead 2, very clearly charred kind of book and stuff. There's also flashbacks that show it that way too, but I don't know, that's the way I had always kind of taken it, which I just thought was fantastic.
Army of Darkness has a couple different variations on the end. What do you think is the best variation?
Well, I honestly think the version that they went with, the actual ending where he wakes up and he's talking to Raimi and everything at the SMR. He's like, so I drank the potion, said the words, and they say the words right this time. Like, basically, I think that version of it is the best version, and it's obviously the canon version because otherwise you wouldn't have.
That was one hell of a fire.
You wouldn't have Ash versus Evil Dead.
Yeah, that's one hell of a fire.
Otherwise, you wouldn't have the Ash versus Evil Dead franchise if you didn't have that as the truly canon version of the ending. So,
what do you think about the "I slept too long" version where he breaks it there? I like that.
I like it. I like it for the comedic value of it.
I like the fact that it ends as him being a fuck up again.
Yeah, I mean, I like it for that comedic value of it. But I disliked it as far as the storyline of Ash Williams went.
So you feel it was good as a side view?
Yeah, it was a fun like what if, I think, but like as far as the actual you prefer ending, canon? I absolutely prefer canon.
Well, that's another weird thing because canon gives you good, bad, I'm the guy with the gun.
Yeah.
Where the director's cut gives I ain't that good, which is a horrible line. So that right there's two canon you prefer. Right?
Oh yeah, I mean I definitely prefer canon over. I know you touched about the scene where it's at the windmill and the dude he sees the other him out there,
which makes more sense to
me. Which I did enjoy, but overall, like definitely the released version of it is the one that I like.
Right.
Like hands down, absolutely the version that I thought was that was better.
Do you have more? Do you have more to talk about the Evil Dead series?
God. I mean, starting with Army of Darkness, I mean, just all of the comedic tropes that were used, all the stuff in the graveyard, like the homage to the Three Stooges, all that stuff, the bringing out the comedic elements in it, and Sam Raimi, the Raimi's going like really like stepping into
Well, it's action adventure.
yeah, and stepping into what they have grown to do. Like that's the movie. You know, it's also.
Could you imagine? Could you imagine actually because it gives you a lot of setup pieces, dark graveyards, the whole deal.
Yeah.
What would you think the film would have been if Raimi took it into the horror perspective?
I think
Like,
hard horror with
if
it.
he went hardcore gothic and Lovecraft horror,
Yeah.
you think he could have did a lot more with the film?
Well, I will say.
Or
this.
do you think it would have been the wrong time to try that?
I'll
film?
say this. I think, given the idea of what. Thank you.
You have an inchworm on you. He's being cute and inchy.
Given the idea of the setup for Army of Darkness, given that she, you know, at the end of Evil Dead 2, like you got to take it in canon, like he goes back to 1300s, I think it is.
Yes.
If that were to go hard horror instead of the direction he took it, it would have been arguably one of, especially at the time period. You know, I don't think they have the budget for it, but as far as like a truly like horror film went, it would have been one of the most like large feeling horror films. I mean, to really truly go back to that time and like have the quality that they had.
Do you feel like campy saved money in a way?
Well, yeah, I think it always does. I think it's a good out for wanting to try and save some money. But I'll say this though too, like with that series and with Raimi and everything. I don't think it wasn't forced. It wasn't. Right. It was what it was, and just so happened to line up with that idea. Like they saved money because it was campy, but that wasn't the goal. It was campy because it was campy. It was for its own sake. It wasn't.
It wasn't to do.
Yeah, it wasn't to like, oh, like we gotta save money. Like how can we like try and work this, or how can we do that? I mean, I'm sure there's probably some of that.
Three films though, which one would you recommend to someone to watch?
Average person?
Yes.
Three.
Army of Darkness. Yeah.
Army of Darkness is my go-to movie.
Do you feel like Evil Dead 2 might be a better setup piece to watch Army of Darkness, or you can just go right out? I think
you can go right out and just watch it because
it gives you that setup at the beginning.
Because the great thing about any one of those movies is first time watch, you can watch it and know what's going on because they do the setups. They do the this is what here's the recap. Like every single one of them. Like, well, obviously not the first one because it's the first one, but second one, third one. Here's the recap. You can come into it knowing what's going on. Like when I watched Army of Darkness, because I said I watched it in reverse order.
Right.
I didn't feel like I was lost. I knew what was happening, and that's as a child.
Right.
Like, it made sense. And same thing with Evil Dead 2. It's like here's what's happening, and I'm like, got it. I'm with you.
Yeah.
I say Army of Darkness is the go-to for like if I'm just recommending like a horror film that somebody might like that's not necessarily real into horror movies because like I even barely call it a horror film to be honest. I mean it is a horror movie, but like to me, like after
I barely
years
call Army of Darkness horror.
Yeah, after years of watching
I
horror
would just say
films,
action adventure.
Yeah, after years of watching horror films, like it no longer.
It's
fits
like
in that genre
Conquest by Lucio Fulci.
Yeah,
Lucio Fulci is known for making horror films, and obviously there's horrific scenes in Conquest, but it's an action adventure sci-fi film. And it's one of those kind of deals. Now, as let's say decades go from the 80s to the 90s, from the 70s, the 60s, the 50s. Let's work back a little bit.
Okay.
For the sake of just a horror podcast, we've done the Evil Dead trilogy. We've talked about films like that. Well, let's go decade by decade.
Okay.
I like to play a film game. Then I have to really set up again and start playing it again because I had the motive down. Where you have to guess the film, kind of. You know, it's I call it film roulette.
Well, yeah, my guess is you're probably gonna be better at this than I am. Like, I was talking with Josh in the break, I guess, but I was like, you know, Paul always blows me away because I'm like, I know a lot about horror films, and like I feel like I definitely know more than the average person, but I'm like, Paul will throw movies at me sometimes, and I'm like, I have no idea what that is. And then you're like, it's by this guy, and I'm like, I have no idea who that is.
Yeah, it's sometimes that happens,
Yeah.
and and sometimes I get caught on it too. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? But I mean, like going back, what do you think? 1910. What is 1910 like? That decade harken to you? Like those are pretty silent films. Like
yeah, I mean,
like the Dance of the Vampire or whatever.
Golem was the very first one.
You know, those things.
Start kind of going up.
Yeah,
through.
Golem, and I posted that on
Nosferatu. That was around that time period, wasn't it? I mean, I'm
Yeah.
like I said, I feel like I know more than most person. But like,
honestly, when I think of 1900s to 1920s, I kind of lumped them in the same group, and I said because the Vampire was a like a little bit like a Trip to the Moon, another one, silence film, beautiful film. Then you start getting into the Nosferatus, then you start going into the Golems and things. So it's a lot of that is a little bit obscure to me. I want to do a film game called basically Film Roulette, where the person's allowed to pick. Okay, the years from basically you pick this year to this year, and you're allowed to pick so many, and what happens. And I have to get back to my friend Lee when I found the things, but they give you a hint, and you have to pick out what film it would be from this year to this year, and you can only pick so many years and stuff. And it's like a little fun game. He plays Movie God.
Okay.
And I might try to figure out a Movie God for you. Okay, right now. But let's go into like the 40s. 40 is obviously the 30s is capsulating this.
Yeah, I always
the 40s is universal.
Yeah, I mean, as far as like movie repertoire that I feel like I really know well, really well. I'm apprehensive to say anything really before you.
I always do like the Wolfman 41.
Yeah. Well, like even for me, like I don't even feel like I can go effectively that far back. Like
when you
I know these movies,
when I
and
say
I appreciate them,
40s, my mind harkens always to the Universals.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You have the Wolfman and the Creature from Black Lagoon and stuff like that. And that gives so much precedence to people like Nashe from the 70s.
Yeah.
Because back in then, when he was a kid, they were illegal to have films in because it was Soviet or fascist Spain.
You're talking totally different.
You could actually get killed. So they would import these films from America. And I think that's why I think Nashe gets a bum rap. Because his films are cheap, or his films they didn't have a horror genre back then. They didn't have budgets. They didn't have anything.
Yeah.
They made homage to films they grew up with, illegally watching, by the way, where they could get killed watching it. So they watched the Universal horror. 50s is another weird stage because then you got that Nuclear Fear stage, where it's Sam Katzman's the werewolf.
And there's cool shit that like even like like I said a lot of my stuff is. I mean, honestly, like when I'm thinking horror, like don't get me wrong, like there's
70s, 80s.
There's all those classics, like like I said, like the Wolfman, like Nosferatu, like even way back, and like fucking all those great ones. And I appreciate them, and I love them for what they are. Now, you ask me to like really delve into them, I don't feel like I could effectively scratch the surface even on.
Well, that's why we pick specific films so you can watch the film and understand. But now, just doing it right off the top of your head is going to be a little rough.
There's I do appreciate like
Comma of the Soul.
And you can even go like when you start coming forward. There's like great movies like Matinee, which isn't even a horror.
Matinee
film.
was a great John Goodman film. Yeah,
and
absolutely.
they harken back to that time period. Like I always think of films like that as a great way as time capsules to get you interested in things that you might not normally be interested in. Like you look at Matinee and you're like, I like it because like I remember seeing previous work when I was younger, and I was like, I really want to see that. And I finally get to watch it, and it piques my interest into a time period that I typically won't look at films because of that movie. It's a bridge movie.
Well, I mean, if you look at films in 1990s, for example, that's a good period to talk about for you. They say what are 90s films? Scream. I know what you did last summer.
Yeah, like horror,
That
like yeah,
bullshit.
it
But
was the return.
Popcorn-
It was the
Popcorn came out in the 90s. Cemetery Man
Yeah.
came out in the 90s.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like Ravenous came out in the 90s.
Ravenous, super fun.
You know what I mean? Like people don't talk about those films. They talk
No.
about Scream.
Well,
they talk about the whole deal.
you know, when you start getting into that, I think the 90s was really the birth of the tangible killer. And when I say that, I mean the
regular human.
the villain
Not the
that
superhuman.
the villain that you can totally beat. Like, it's not like you're fighting Freddy and you have to like
So you're talking
find
about,
his bones.
You're talking
and
about
then
the American
throw a holy
Psycho.
water. Yeah, you're talking like these are people that you can actually do something about.
You could become one, but you could also
Yeah.
kill one.
Yeah, absolutely. But you also see in the 90s and early 2000s the dance into the ghost, like the truly ghost movies. I mean, don't get me wrong, you had that with like Poltergeist and those things, but
Paranormal Activity.
yeah, but that's like, but yeah, you see the bridge into Paranormal Activity, into those kind of films.
Well, you're talking about 99, The Haunting, and
Yeah, you're talking the
Well,
Haunted,
you're
talking
starting
13, you're talking the
you're-
remakes,
the
like
remakes
the
of the good stuff.
yeah,
from the
bringing
50s and
bringing
60s.
them forward, which then brought
House
you
on
into
Haunted
yeah,
Hill.
which brought you into which how the
with James Wood.
yeah.
Yes.
But the Haunting I actually really enjoyed
With Liam Neeson.
with Liam Neeson
Yes.
and Catherine Zeta-Jones.
That
or she was
bitch.
Catherine Zeta at the time.
Whatever she is.
But I actually quite enjoyed that Owen Wilson gets his head taken off
With the
while-
with the crying children
Yeah.
on the mantle.
But I actually really enjoyed that.
They tried to have a renaissance with that
Mhm.
film of gothic horror.
And I think they
I think
they
the
partially
problem
succeeded.
The problem is the demographic that is watching films of that point in time are not versed in literature. They're not versed in education.
Yeah,
they're not intelligent enough to understand gothic horror, where it came from. They don't know. If you hear, I mean, half the people don't know who Edgar Allan Poe is, and the other half they say, "Oh, it's the Raven," but they don't realize what the Raven is. They don't know what it is. They don't know what he's done. We have a very dumbed down society.
Yeah. And I mean, I do think,
And I really dislike society, by the way.
I do think that they did have, in a way, a renaissance of, and it's kind of sad actually. It's like a sad renaissance of horror films, in that, you know, you really, from like 1978 ish to like the mid to late 80s, you had real awesome horror stuff coming out. You had, that's where you have your icons coming at them, honestly.
Well,
I mean,
the
think
biggest
about,
thing
you
about
have
the
your-
80s, the mid to late 80s, is you had the sci-fi horror renaissance.
You did. Well, that was 1979 with Alien. Like,
Well, think about The Fly.
yeah,
You
The
had
Fly, you got
82, The Thing.
Well,
The Thing from Another World, but with a...
Yeah, I mean, you can go back to way back to, was that 1950?
Yeah, it's 55 is The Thing from
55,
Another
yeah.
World. And then you had the 82 release with The Thing.
Mhm.
And all that came from a very short little story called From the Munsen's Tent,
Okay.
which is a beautiful short story. If you watch it, everyone says The Thing came from the Mouth of Madness, which is not true. The thing came
About
from
Mouth of Madness or whatever,
from Lovecraft,
Yeah.
but it came from a thing called The Munsen's Tent, which is an extremely awesome short story that everyone should actually read for sure. You can find it on Horror Babble, which is on YouTube. Horror Babble, one word, or Twitter or Instagram. And yes, I will want some money coming towards me for that.
Monetary.
Yeah,
Uh,
monetary compensation for that nice little Horror Babble. I usually do a lot of paintings, listening to Horror Babble, and I throw that up on the old, thank you for the inspiration.
Yeah. Now, I do think there was a renaissance, or like a rediscovery of horror in the mid 90s.
Well, any Renaissance, which is funny because it was a French word that happened in Italy.
Yeah.
But it's the enlightened times, the light
Yeah.
times.
I mean,
so,
honestly,
anytime that because honestly, at this point in time in the 80s, you're pulling sci-fi out of your ass.
Yeah.
And
well, that's what
the
was so-
first
that's
big,
so
the
fantastic
first
about
big
it, too.
sci-fi thing that really hit, besides obviously Star Trek, Star Wars, was V.
Yeah. Well, yeah. When you start going into that genre, I do
the
agree with you.
horror genre.
Because I mean, you go back
was-
to like Space 1999 and like
Lost
in
in Space.
and
But
all-
when
and
you're
all
talking
that
about
stuff, but, like,
80s
when you're talking like
horror,
more of a slightly postmodern,
postmodern 80s horror,
like
You got
stuff.
V.
Yeah, because you had that sci-fi horror element. Like V was sci-fi, but had a horror element.
Yeah, absolutely.
To it.
They were eating gerbils.
Yeah, absolutely. But I do think the '90s
Extra again.
The '90s did bring about, if nothing else, and even if you hate some of these movies, I know you don't like them, but like Scream, I Know What You Did Last Summer. These films brought a reemergence of horror
Yes.
to the mainstream.
But at the same time, I wish they didn't, because it should have been dead. It should have been dead and gone, and no one should have brought them back, because I don't find a single. I can't say that. I do find there's one or two films in the late '90s, 2000s that are good, like Ravenous is something.
Yeah, Ravenous is very good. But you know, again, like,
Delamorte, Delamore, The Cemetery Man is one of the best films ever made.
But like,
Dog Soldiers is fantastic.
Soldiers is
The first, and I'll say this again, the first Wrong Turn was good.
Mm-hmm.
The Cottage from 2009 wasn't bad. However, most of these films are garbage.
Possum Cabin in the Woods.
Kind of shitty.
You thought kind of shitty.
Yeah, kind of shitty. It was watchable, but it's kind of shitty.
I enjoy it.
I mean, I really had a good time with one when I saw the werewolf, because it's in my werewolf collection. And then two, when the unicorn speared the guy on the wall, was pretty funny.
Now, I see, and this is where
it's one of those tongue in cheeks.
Well, that even had kind of a
here's
Raimi,
here's
kind of a Raimi film.
Here's the
feel
problem.
to it, I think
you're laughing at the genre. You're laughing at the genre.
You're kind of right. Look, I think so. One thing with Cabin in the Woods that I appreciate, I suppose, was that it did bring like a very human element, like outside, like a very outside element. And again, this is where I go to the like, I feel like a lot of horror films that, and this might be a problem as well. A lot of horror films that come out anymore are nothing but bridges to what we consider, like what I would consider the golden age of horror, which for me is the like late '70s to like mid to late '80s. Like that was the golden time in horror.
And that's the funny thing. That is the downfall of horror.
And you're right. And you're absolutely right. Like, you know, you always fire burns brightest before it goes out.
Yeah, brightest before the dawn. Yeah,
and
darkest before the dawn, brightest before the fall.
Yeah, whatever, however you want to phrase it. But that time period for me for horror that's where it was, like, because that's where you have like every major horror icon you can think of.
The problem is, it's
period.
you have that moment, late '80s, like mid to late '80s. You have that, well, let's say early '80s to mid '80s. Yeah. You have that cashing in zone. That's why there are so many people hitting that right there, because they're cashing in on the horror spike.
Well, I think that was part of the problem too. Is as time went on, like when you start getting into the reemergence of horror in Scream, right? You have these people making movies that are no longer the thought of I'm going to make a good film. It was I'm going to make a franchise that I'm going to try and cash in.
And that's the number one thing I wish never happened, is these franchises.
I agree, because like, you know, you look at your modern day classic horror icons, your Freddy, your Jason, your Chucky, your Leatherface,
either Leatherface, because that was a resurgence.
Your Hellraiser. You take any of those guys, and the initial thought with those films was not I'm going to make a franchise. I mean, maybe somebody can prove me wrong, but
when Texas Chainsaw Massacre came out, it was 1974.
Yeah,
they were trying to make a postmodernist movement around the end of basically the Vietnam War, the fallout of what happened, and of course a kind of commentary on postmodern, like, rural life in Texas. It's fucking fantastic. And it's 13.2, but it doesn't taste it.
No, it doesn't.
But this Redneck Wedding, like Texas Chainsaw, was a marriage of low budget, dedication, and something that will never... Here's the thing is, if you took a shit once a year, it would be something you'd never forget.
Yeah. Well, that's true.
You know what I mean? But if you take a shit 6 times a day, what the fuck's the point?
Not like a Vulcan.
You get used to it. Texas Chainsaw Massacre was something that was supposed to happen once in your life, and it should never happen again, because your first shit should never be like your second shit.
And that was I think the idea with a lot of these horror franchises was that wasn't the intent. The intent was to make the
none of
movie.
these.
And I mean, and you can even see it. You can it almost slaps you in the face when you look at some of these sequels that came out. Like you look at Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2.
Freddy's Revenge.
Garbage film. Garbage film.
Fun.
Enjoyable. But I just about the weakest in the franchise. Mm-hmm. I mean, I think most horror fans would probably consider that
the only reason it would be weak is because it was supposed to be dead on the first one. It wasn't supposed to be second.
Yeah, these were not movies that were meant for franchise stuff, and they struggled through their sequel.
And like Betsy Palmer was an amazing woman to meet, talk to, have fun with. That Nightmare or Friday the 13th should have been one and done.
Yeah.
They didn't need to be. And the problem is they brought a Freddy back from the dead, and where do you go from that? Well, now he's a mongoloid. Now he's this. Now he's that.
And you know, it's funny because like, and I think there are a lot of the reasons why these franchises made it. I mean, and you can argue this, I think, fairly well, is the third movie when they decided that they were gonna really try and make another one even after the second one was kind of shitty, is you look at things like Nightmare on Elm Street, first one awesome, second one shitty. Third Nightmare on Elm Street is honestly one of my favorites. The Dream Warriors,
Dawkins song,
I love that.
The problem with films today, and this is commentary on life, commentary on anything, and this is the facts, basically. We cannot. He's talking about Bret Hart. That was the Mersey beer too. But we have that point now where we cannot have a devoted following of people going to a movie theater, because who goes to a movie theater?
Yeah.
Because honestly, when you look at success of a film, you look at movie box offices. That shows you the success of a film in America. These sequels are based off those numbers. When you had Saw, for example, shitty film, horrible film, hate fucking film.
I mean, Chaos is awesome.
Now fuck off.
You like Chaos?
I like Robin Hood Man in Tights. But
Comic Book Villains, great underrated movie.
He was the best actor in the whole bunch, and of course he came back later because he was a killer. But what Saw did was say, and this brings up the whole thing. They did this. What are they going to do next? They did this. What are they going to do next? Yeah. And it just and even though you're amusing the next set of people, you're desensitizing the first set of people.
Yeah.
And then, I just ran him through a razor blade machine. Well, we saw that in part 2. Well, so what? So now a guy with a meat hook hitting people in the fucking throat and hanging them doesn't matter anymore.
Start going with that horror. You start getting into like fucking Hostel and like a lot of that shit. Which I was not a fan of Hostel. I know some.
Well, it's the same thing about us watching ECW.
Yeah.
And now the table's on fire. Now it's covered with thumbtacks and on fire.
Yeah.
Now it's wrapped with razor blade and on fire. Now when someone does a simple heel turn in the middle of the ring, we don't care because. Well, did they get hurt?
Yeah.
Where's the skin falling off?
I mean, for me, when I start looking into the '90s, where horror went, and I mean, I appreciate the fact that, on some level, because I think it's because horror movies and the community is, I find it so dear that I do really appreciate that, even though I didn't necessarily like a lot of these films, I appreciated the fact that they were getting people interested in horror.
Right.
And they're like, I liked this, maybe I'll try this out. And, maybe it's a little bit harder, like a little slightly harder horror film, but like they like it. And they start discovering these things. It's the same reason, like when we were talking about Rob Zombie, I know you're not a fan, but like he remakes Halloween. Like, whether or not you like it, people that don't typically watch horror that fell into the horror genre because they were like, Rob Zombie was doing it.
Yeah.
He made Halloween. oh shit, they're like, I liked that, and I know because most people do know that there is a Halloween franchise. They were like, I'll go back and try the original.
Yep.
And it starts sparking, and maybe not for everybody, but it does spark people, and it gets them interested in these things, which I think is a good thing for the horror community if you want to keep it going.
Right. Well, yeah, if you want to keep whinging along, whatever you want to do. And like some people like chocolate ice cream, some like people like vanilla ice cream. I like vanilla ice cream. I can't be mad because people like chocolate ice cream.
Yeah, well, you're absolutely right.
You know what I mean? So
and here's the thing with horror is more so than any other genre of film, like your comedy, your action, your fucking romance, your drama, all your in betweens, your thrillers, all that stuff. Horror is, in my opinion, the biggest trial and error genre that you can
either you
get
fail
into.
Or you succeed.
I mean, think about the number of B movies that are out there, and I mean, I've watched some
how many
awful horror
How
films.
many B movies though that you respect more than the new ones?
Yeah, and that's the argument, is that with the horror franchise, people are just like, it's hard to, I think, really grasp.
I would watch
what
Don
it
Farmer's
is.
Cannibal Hookers
Yeah,
before I'd ever watch Hostile.
yeah, it's really hard. I think it's really hard to grasp exactly the thing that can make a horror movie so good. I mean, there's formulas that you can use, like, all right, I want to make like a slasher film. Like, all right, well, I need a cool villain with a signature weapon and like he's like and a catchphrase and a place. So I mean, and you can follow almost every single major 80s horror villain with that formula.
That format.
Like Jason Voorhees, like not right off the bat, but like he's got the look, he's got the machete. Like I can name the horror villains and you can tell me their weapon. I mean, that's what I'm talking about. You got the look, you got the thing, like you got your hooks to them. And when you're making a slasher film, that's one thing.
We should get Dad in here and ask him about some of it. I don't know if he'd come over though. If I asked him.
But and here's the thing too with horror movies as they progress that I find interesting is that you can almost look at it like the movie genre. Or
I'd like to know his opinion on Halloween and Jaws.
Yeah, I mean classics, like true classics.
Because he got me into Halloween. He got me into Jaws. He got me into Halloween Dead.
It's funny because I know when we were talking about the Evil Dead, I had mentioned my dad was like
that's kind of crazy.
Really
Your dad being a big Evil Dead fan.
And my
your
father,
dad must be younger than.
Well, he was. He graduated in '75, so Evil Dead.
He graduated. He's 20, and that's that's exactly when you need to get into horror film.
He's in his mid-20s.
That's fucking that's awesome.
And he had.
Shut the fuck up.
He had seen it. One of his buddies had showed it to him and everything. And
right.
My dad, he wasn't like a horror guy. I mean, it seemed like he liked a lot of everything. And I just remember, Army of Darkness came out as a kid, and he was like, "This is about the same guy as the Evil Dead." I remember watching Evil Dead. I was hearing how awesome Evil Dead was. He was very encouraging. So when we watched Army of Darkness, because it looked comedic enough.
Mm-hmm.
He let that seed grow. Like he did. I was never stifled as a child as to the things that I was interested in.
Hey, Dad,
I've always appreciated.
Come here. I have to see what he thinks.
But a lot of horror stuff, I hearken to the music genre as well.
Yeah,
you can see bridges in that.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
In that.
I hear you guys talking, but I don't care who you are.
Yeah.
That was a hell.
Oh shit. Yeah. What do you think about?
That was a hell of a thing when Spock died.
Well, yeah, exactly. What do you think about Halloween?
We're at the con.
Oh, gee whiz.
Come on over here.
That's okay.
Sit down. Come on. Sit down.
was,
I have to ask you about Jaws next.
You want to ask me about Jaws?
Yeah.
You go in the theater.
When's the
guy goes in the theater?
He goes out of the theater.
That's
guy goes in the seat.
Sit down. Fuck it.
That's okay.
When's the first time you saw Halloween?
Sharks and.
Did you see Halloween at the theater? The theater.
Yeah.
It was actually called, I guess, the Babysitter Murders. That was the original title, but they changed it to Halloween. What do you think about Halloween when you first saw it?
That was
Donald Pleasance
Donald Pleasance,
was
with John.
brilliant again.
Again,
Always.
because he just always was.
Always
And
brilliant.
he was brilliant in the Outer Limits episode.
Oh,
the Twilight episode.
And
He was
Amazing Escape.
when he was going to retire
Mm-hmm.
from, they wanted him out of the college on the Twilight Zone. That was
I
a
also
great
say,
episode.
did you watch Halloween 2 when it came out?
No.
1981.
I watched it.
Yeah.
But
He was just absolutely fantastic again. And honestly, and hopefully you'll agree with this, I always find, and I've said this, I moved the camera because I thought he was going to say it.
No, that's
But,
fine. Don't worry about it.
I've always said this to this day.
More of a radio personality.
That's what I said. I was trying to do a Johnny Carson with this guy, and he wasn't working with me.
So what do you think of
Yeah. So what do you feel? Find yourself at
this
that? What
new invisible man.
What is your perfect swim day? I always found Halloween 1981 to be the perfect sequel. There's nothing wrong with it. It blends
It's
completely
better than
in.
the Jaws sequel.
Oh God, yes.
Better than.
Yes.
It was.
I would say you're right.
I would say it's flawless.
That is a
don't
very,
understand the empty hospital
very good.
with Jamie Lee
Always
Curtis.
the biggest,
Yeah.
my biggest
I
issue
worked
with
in the
that
hospital
movie.
for
I-
20
And there was
some
always
years,
people there.
Yeah.
and those bastards.
Always
were
love going back to the the no smoking sign.
There's
in the
no
hospital.
smoking sign in the hospital.
Or no, the ashtray. The ashtray is sitting next to the bench. I always cracked
Well,
up.
you
'cause I was
used
like,
to
you
be able
to do that.
Yeah, you used to be able to smoke in
It's like
hospitals.
watching
I
Die Hard
remember
again and seeing them
my
smoking in
father.
airports
Yeah,
and shit.
you
You're
were
like,
working
wow,
on the mall, and I used to walk around the mall before the first.
Yeah.
But I always remember because there was a bookstore there, and before the first Fire Truck Books, and before the very first Harry Potter book even hit the shelves, there used to be an ashtray right outside the the bookstore.
Yeah, you go in the doctor's office and you know the doctor be smoking and he'd be
Yeah,
like,
and he would talk
I'm
to
a
you
little
while you're
concerned
smoking.
about that cough. young man."
Yeah. Well, I don't know what it is. Yeah.
You know,
Even if you look at the old
mall,
yeah.
up until Jesus Christ, not even less than 10 years ago, I
But
would say.
Geisinger, they used to
You
walk
still used to
around.
be able to smoke in there.
They
Now-
would walk around the halls smoking.
Now you went to see Halloween Night in the theater, right?
Yep.
Now, do you feel there's something that just came up there? But do you feel what's the last film that you saw in the theater?
In the theater, probably
In the 80s, right?
no. I would say The Hangover.
The Hangover.
Hangover.
Oh, in the 90s.
That's
Or
the
the
Hangover
2000s,
2000.
Do you
maybe
feel like
2010 -ish,
well,
or,
I mean, no, it's not a
know,
horror
something
film, but
before it.
did you notice that like the people that were in the film, they didn't act the same way as in the 70s? Because I've heard people in the 70s when they watched a horror film, they just fucking freaked out. They just went to town. They were actually like pissing themselves scared
Well,
and just.
I could tell you about Jaws.
Yeah, tell me about Jaws because
When-
that was the
when-
next one I was going to bring up anyway.
The captain slid down.
Yeah, and he got bitten up. Yeah.
And these two black guys stood up in the theater ahead of us, scared, holding each other. Mercy, mercy's sake, shark, let him go, let him go.
That is amazing. Yeah,
Yeah.
that is great. Yeah. And people don't do that though
No,
anymore. They
no,
don't
you don't
care.
have
Like,
that kind of.
you don't have that. I mean, people, and that's the thing is, I think that
there's
there's
just-
they've seen too much.
film, you know.
Stories of The Exorcist. I remember hearing people like went to go see The Exorcist in theaters, and they were like scared the hell out of me. Like,
Yeah.
like
I know
legitimately.
I know people that were
Well,
literally
there were
not.
people that saw The Exorcist that said they were possessed when they
Yeah,
came out.
yeah.
This is the same people that probably sent money to Jim Baker too.
Exactly. There's people. I'm gonna move you guys over here so maybe you can see if you're watching. But there's people that literally will not let The Exorcist in their house to this day.
like a Ouija board.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, there's magic and oh, boogie, boogie, boogie and stuff, and it's all horseshit, you know. But they believe it. They believe that stuff, and that's you can't sway them either. They believe it, and there you go, and that's it. So yeah, but yeah, that's it. But at the same time, it's pretty interesting to see the difference between someone watching a film. You don't get that film. You don't get any kind of reaction from people if you go to watch a movie today.
I wish I could have seen, you know, To Kill a Mockingbird in the theater.
Oh my God,
Gregory Peck.
Gregory Peck was amazing in
You
that
know.
film too.
At that age, to appreciate it, I was a little kid.
Yeah.
It still scared me.
But I can only imagine watching Night of the Living Dead in 1968 in a theater.
Yeah.
Like, holy crap.
I mean, that kind of appreciation for acting is long gone.
Yeah. And I'm
Gregory
so...
Peck, they say he is the American hero over Superman.
Right,
the
right.
number one American hero.
I was really happy I got a chance to meet...
especially in this day and age.
Craig.
He defended Tom Robinson, and what an incredible performance.
Well, absolutely fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah.
1968, Night of the Living Dead. I got a chance to meet Craig Charles, was the news person in the booth in Night of the Living Dead. However, right before I got a chance to meet him, Chili Billy actually passed away. Bill Cardell passed away. So, but it was nice that you got a chance to hear Chili Billy on the radio of Pittsburgh.
Oh, saw him.
Yeah, saw him. Chili Billy coming through. And he was an absolute professional. I've heard nothing but good things said about him.
I don't want to, interrupt, but saw To Tell the Truth 2 weeks ago, and lady stood up. No, I'm not an FBI agent. However, I did play the part of Princess of Darkness. I'm Elvira.
Oh,
she was
and
on
Cassandra Peterson
She
was
was on
there.
To Tell the Truth.
To Tell the
Yes,
Truth.
she was.
I
I saw a clip of that, and
I watched
I
a
know
very-
exactly who that is.
I watched
was
a very,
great.
very
That
old...
was- and I didn't recognize it.
She's
Oh.
a natural
Yeah, she's
redhead, which a
natural
lot of people
redhead.
don't
Yes,
realize.
I watched
That
a
was
black
really
and white
nice to
version of
see.
To Tell the Truth, and this guy, and it was, this person saw something. What do you see? The old deal, and you had to figure out what the person saw.
I don't know.
He saw, as a child, the assassination of Abraham Lincoln.
Oh, wow.
What a story that would be.
Oh, man.
He was 7 or 8, 9 years
Isn't
old,
that something?
and he was 96. On the show, saw the assassination. He was in Forbes Theater at the time.
No.
1866
Yeah,
or
yeah,
something.
yeah. It was
65.
after 65,
Yeah.
right after the war ended.
Isn't that something?
And he saw with his own eyes the
Comes our
assassination
friend.
of
Comes our friend
the fox. Our friend the fox is here, folks.
But no, you know,
Let's see him.
Yeah.
I'm saying, you know, I've always hearkened horror movies
Isn't that
in a way to how you kind of see how I see a lot of music over the
Yes,
years.
yeah.
Like, you know, horror movies, I always felt like they took the things that came before and they built on them and went with them, much the way I felt music did. And then,
Well, it's how society builds.
yeah, and you see, but you also see the same thing with horror movies that I also saw was the problem with music, where music somewhere in like the mid 2000s, it stopped building and it just became like mass produced.
I
Pop.
was gonna say in 1995 it started doing that shit.
Oh yeah, I mean, well, I think there's arguments for like, you know, even like more mainstream bands that came out in like the mid 2000s with like the Killers and you know. bands
That's
like that.
that's where you start getting
Franz Ferdinand,
that's when you
like-
start getting music.
Yeah,
rock.
kind of. But you can see the same kind of thing happen with horror movies. Like as from the time horror movies first really started coming out, you saw like a build on them, and then you know there was like this like a resurgence kind of in the '90s with the films that we're talking about, like Scream, and
yes, yeah.
like all those stuff. But then it just became now I think a lot of like popular horror is just mass produced dribble. Like
Yeah.
there's
I
nothing.
I
to
like
it.
the
There's no
fact that they say 90s horror was teen horror. I'm like, well,
Yeah.
well, the teens were in the 80s. The teens were in this.
Yeah,
Like, why is
I mean,
it
most
teen horror
most
now?
horror from the 70s on is teen horror. and
Yeah.
that is the kind of the element that they're.
I
getting
love
towards,
watching old horror films by old horror directors, Lamberto Bava's and Mario Bava's rather, and stuff like that. These guys they're wearing suits.
Yeah.
You know, they are professional people making horror. Black Sabbath with Boris Karloff.
Yeah.
You have Black Sunday with Barbara Steele.
Yeah.
Very Professional.
Yeah.
You have the Tingler. You have the Last Man on Earth with Vincent Price.
You think you'll find the cure?
Yeah, no, I'm
Yeah.
a man. You're just freaks. You freaks.
Well, we were talking about Matinee earlier, and again, I go back to like another movie that kind of like piques interest, like
I was
movies
saying,
like was it?
Well, I was saying, John Goodman's Matinee, Meet the Feebles, like things like that.
Ed Wood,
Ed Wood.
Great.
Even
fucking
Edward
insight.
Scissorhands
I
is
mean,
something that
Plan-
that
Plan
took
9?
the Plan 9 from Outer Space.
I mean,
yeah,
it
Ed
gets you
Wood.
interested in these films that came, decades prior.
Well, the Ed Wood story, played by Johnny Depp, would get you interested in Plan 9 from Outer Space. And
Correct.
then, of course, then you're going to see Tor Johnson, so you're gonna watch The Beast of Yucca Flats.
Yeah, you're gonna start.
You're
getting-
gonna
you're
start
getting
broadening
into this
out,
stuff.
broadening
Yeah.
out, broadening out, broadening out.
And I take them as bridges into.
And then
these
you
things,
watch,
which is
like,
one of the reasons,
well,
outside of enjoying the movie, why
Mid-90s,
separate reason why.
mid-90s, we watched Mystery Science Theater 2000,
One of the
right? I mean, we
greatest
still watch that
things
today.
ever
It's on now. Yeah.
It's on right now.
One of the
You
greatest
get
things
you
ever.
get the Mantis, which I saw on 35 millimeter film the first time I ever watched.
Yeah,
it.
I mean,
My dad had 35 millimeter film
I
of the
have-
Mantis.
I
I
have-
watched that the first time on
my,
that.
my buddy Bennett sent me a
Hmm.
the Time Chasers episode of
Yeah.
Mr. MSC3K.
Well, I have Werewolf on every
Well,
format.
he sent me. I was like,
You got the Michael Landon one.
Yeah.
He was going to college in Vermont. He said, I passed Castleton College, which is the shirt the guy
Which
wears.
is the guy.
And
Yeah.
I was like, yo, get me a T-shirt. He sent me a T-shirt, but it came from the company, like the company that made Time Chasers, not
So it was
college,
actually
the act-
Time Chasers
the actual
shirt.
Time Chasers
Yeah.
studio. But the crazy thing about it was, I open up the box, I get the shirt, I'm like, oh, dude, you're fucking awesome. And I look, and there's a old VHS like cassette tape box that has never been folded. That's in there.
It's Time
And
Chasers.
It's the Time Chasers cassette tape box, and it's got the signature of the director, and it says, Michael, keep chasing. And then it's got this
Nice.
autograph, and I was like, holy shit. I'm like, dude, you got me his autograph. He's like, what are you talking about? And I take a picture, and I'm like, dude,
Oh, I didn't
this
know
came in
that.
the box. And he's like, I didn't even know that was coming with it. I'm like, apparently they were so thrilled that somebody bought the shirt.
That's
they sent this
awesome.
along with it.
Well,
I
hey,
have it hanging
they
on the wall in the
appreciated
TV
your-
room. Like,
Hey,
They
I will
appreciate
say one thing.
yeah,
Russ Steiner gave you a call.
he did. That was.
That was pretty cool.
I was
The guy that
I was
was gonna get
damn
you
near
far,
speechless.
bro.
I don't know if
Ah,
I don't know if I was on
that's
speaker or
fantastic.
Yeah,
not,
yeah.
but I just remember being like, I just want to tell you, thank you.
Yeah.
Like,
right.
thank you
I can
for
understand that.
for doing this. Like,
And he was very interested that you were a sheriff.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
He was very interested. I was like, oh my God, you're just
You're
here.
a nice man.
Very,
Uh,
very, very nice.
I-
Very nice.
You know, there's so many of these.
he exactly reminds me of Grandpa.
There's so many of these
Exactly.
horror
Exactly.
icons. Like you were talking about
Yeah.
Bruce Campbell, and we were talking about St. Peterson and
And
everything.
he's a gentleman.
We were talking about these people, and I've always wanted to meet them, and don't get me wrong, like it would be awesome to have their autograph and like all the little print things, but I truly want to meet them just to tell them thank you.
Thank you. Thank
Like-
you for
like-
what you've done.
That's like all the musical artists.
Yeah,
Thank
all
you for
the
what you've
musicians,
done.
these
Yeah.
things. Like, look, I know you don't know me.
Everything
Anchor
you appreciate.
Scrim was
Yeah,
amazingly
like
happy tonight.
I
Very
know
nice.
you have no idea who I am, and I know that I don't know you as a person.
Did he call you?
But that these things that you did have impacted my life in such a positive way.
Yeah, I've
And-
never been told I
and-
was the man before
yeah,
until I got on the phone with him after that.
Yeah,
I was the
and-
fucking
and
man.
I just kill it. And I just like thank you. Like you don't realize, like I've always wanted to meet Sandra Pearson just to tell, because like as much as I love Bruce Campbell and these guys,
Yes.
Elvira for me as a child growing up, as far as like being interested in horror.
Yeah, Cassandra
Like,
Peterson is.
everybody's always.
I mean,
like,
I've known her since
yeah,
Working
I
Girls.
mean, everybody's always been like, she's so hot. All these things, like yes, like she's gorgeous. All
Yeah,
these things.
but her attitude.
But
is
that's
what
not
I
the
like.
reason why I love her.
Rhonda Shear.
I love her.
Yeah, I just tweeted her,
I love her because
All
and
night.
she's still hot, by the way.
Well, that's-
she made me feel like it was okay to like
Like this stuff.
like
I
like horror
remember
movies,
when
and
I
you
was,
made me feel like I was accepted and it was all right. And
I remember when
piqued
I
my
was
growth.
married, right?
Mm.
And I decided I'm gonna get this fucking Elvira DVD again, right? So I got the Elvira DVDs, and I'm thinking like I'm just waiting for my wife to yell at me because this
Haunted
dark
Hills
dark
and stuff like that.
celestial like
Was it the
bust-
movies or was it the
movies,
show?
movies,
Okay.
movies, right? And I get a call at work. I'm like, oh boy.
Here we go.
Yeah.
hey, I watched those Elvira films.
Yeah.
I love her. She's awesome. And I'm like, yeah, because her attitude was, hey, lady, if I want your opinion, I'll beat it out of you.
And
Like
she's
I was
still-
like, yeah, that's the attitude. You know?
She's still fantastic.
She
I mean, I
is. She
follow-
is, and she's as weird as she is.
Yeah.
She has a necklace made of people's teeth. Like she's weird, and I like the fact that she's weird. I love that.
She's one of the few. Like I don't.
And she
I
still
don't
has her
think
1955 T-bird.
I don't
Oh,
tend to
wow.
follow a lot
That's
of
fantastic.
celebrities and stuff
Wow.
on Instagram and all those things, but I do follow her. Like
Yeah.
I like and because of the
The
fact
real
that I was always-
Elvira
yeah,
on Instagram.
I was always like, you made me feel welcomed in this world where, you know, it's like, you know, remember The Walking Dead came out and all of a sudden everybody liked zombies. And
Yeah,
like,
but nobody liked zombies before The
and all
Walking
these
Dead.
things, yeah.
Nobody
And-
liked
and-
that.
and it was this thing where I was like, look, like true horror fans, people that love this stuff, and it might be weirder for
True
younger
horror
kids.
fans don't need to get pointed out that they made the Fulci zombie
Yeah.
reference. They don't need to point out they made the Bill Heinzman
Yeah,
reference.
and-
they get it. They go,
and-
oh, that's him.
and
That's
I-
Bill.
and I
And
understand
I
the
met Bill
difference-
Heinzman before he died, by the way, and he's a fucking gentleman. And I will say this. I'm gonna pride about this. I didn't only just meet him, but before he died, after he died, I met his wife, his daughter, his granddaughter, and his great granddaughter at the same time. I met 4 generations of Heinzman.
You know,
That's awesome.
I understand it might be different for kids that were like, because now you're living in like a post Walking Dead kind of world.
Yes.
So like, it's a little different now for like the younger like teenage generations that are coming up through the horror rags, if you
Right.
will.
Yeah.
But you know, I remember, as I'm sure you remember, being in high school,
Mhm.
being a teenager, and really getting into these things.
Yes.
And it was not mainstream.
Well,
it
I
was
mean,
not.
the-
It was not socially acceptable.
The thing is, though, you can't judge people getting into shit.
well, absolutely, and
Every great wrestler had a great person he what's the
Oh,
word
sure.
what's the word you use them as a something or other, a person like a mentor or whatever. Yeah, every great person in the movie business has a great mentor. Every great wrestler had a mentor. Nature Boy, Buddy Holly. Yeah, Buddy, you know, I mean, like
like
the
an
Nature
idol.
Boy.
You
Yeah.
had an idol. Somebody
Nature
that
Boy
you
Buddy
idolized
Rogers.
and, like,
No, Buddy Rogers. The Nature Boy Buddy Rogers. Next thing you know, Ric Flair comes out
Yeah.
of nowhere. You know what I mean? Those kind of things. You build off that, and that's how you become who you are. If you walk into a horror genre, and all you see is what they call it, the Sacco sisters or whatever, well, you're gonna have pretty shitty mentors because their films suck. You know what I mean? And they just it is what it is. I mean, you're only gonna be able to build so much off that. But if you go into, like, I was lucky enough to go into the movie industry, the horror genre, and have films like Raimi and Wes Craven, but then I got into Lucio Fulci, and then Dario
Yeah, you start
Argento,
finding-
and then Mario
you start
Bava.
finding all
And
the
what the
same-
thing is, what I did was I didn't go up, I went back. And I
Yeah.
think that's the thing that people don't understand is go backwards. Don't go up, go backwards.
Yeah.
Because you have Fulci, but then you have Argento, then you have Bava, and then you have Mario Bava. Then you're in the 50s.
Yeah. So what you start? Well, again, like,
And
that's-
then you really seek yourself.
Well, and that's where I'm kind of talking about, like, that bridge with the music industry, where as you go back, you can see how it was built off of these other
yeah.
things. And
A
you
lot
can
of
take
people
the
don't
and,
want to
like,
look back.
and
They
as
want to
you-
look forward.
Yeah, and as you break it down, as you go back, you can find more specifically the things that you like
Absolutely.
about the
Absolutely.
thing that you're watching,
Oh.
whether it be music or whether it be
Sorry about that. We have Kimmy Del Rey says cheers, and cheers to you too. There you go.
whether it be
Shannon on the box. I didn't know.
Yeah, that's fine. It's good.
whether it be music or whether it be movies, but
But you
as
have
you go
to,
back through,
you have to
can
look
see
back.
you can see the influence. So like, you got your film that you like, you decide like, all right, I'm gonna look back, and you're like, all right, these are clearly the films that this was kind of taken from. So this was the way that I went with that, and then you find the more specific version there, and then you look at that and you can say, all right,
this is the thing I like about this, and that kind of came from these
Yeah.
films. And it's
And
the same with music. It's
The
the
thing
same
is,
with these
yeah,
things.
but the problem is, people always say about this band, this band, this band. I'm looking backwards. I didn't get done finding the band. I found Predator, Bloodlust,
Mhm.
Hell something or other. I have them though. I have them all on vinyl now.
Mhm.
I have this, I have that, I have this, I have that, I have this, I have that, because I didn't know they existed. I have Morbid Saint. You
Yeah.
remember Morbid Saint? Fucking
Not
good
really.
shit. Morbid Saint. Carnage. I have
Yeah.
all that on vinyl now because I'm still looking backwards.
Yeah.
Wait until I get done looking backwards, and then I'll look forwards.
Yeah.
Alan Parsons.
Alan Parsons.
Yeah, because
I
as
have
you go
that
back,
tales, yeah.
once you kind of pinpoint, even like I pinpoint the thing that it is that I'm looking for. Like this, like if we're talking music, like this is the music
Yeah.
element that I really like. Like, yeah, you might have looked back further than that,
Hellstar,
but you're
by
like
the way. It's
none of,
Hellstar.
none of those bands that when I look back further, none
Yeah.
of those had exactly what I was looking for. It wasn't until this band that I really
Mhm.
truly found
Well, and
the thing.
don't get discouraged because you're gonna look through a lot of horror directors. You're gonna look through a lot of horror bands.
And-
you go, you know what? No.
And that's-
Yeah, I went through Thor, Axe, this Battle
and-
Axe,
and-
this and that. And I'm gonna boom, 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 boom. No. Like Morbid Saint, no. Morbid Saint, yes, but like Metal Church, not really. Dark Star,
Yeah, and
Dark
that's the-
Angel,
and
I
that's the
don't
thing
know.
you have to
And
carry-
you have to bop, 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 bop,
Yeah,
bop.
and that's what you have to carry through.
And
all
you
that stuff
find
is-
out who you like.
Yeah.
You
It's
know
like,
what I mean?
and it's the same thing with the horror movies. Like, you go back through, you find the thing, whatever it is. Sometimes it's not even tangible. It's not even something that you can like totally grasp. You're just like, it's this feel. It's whatever it is that speaks to you.
You know what?
You can
the
pinpoint
best
that,
thing
and
I
then
could
you
ever
can
tell.
follow that through and just always be happy.
Absolutely, but the best thing I could tell any person that is trying to get into horror films, go through the slime, go through
You
the
like-
absolute
As
slime.
as a horror fan, I think I will say this. I think true horror fans
It starts with
like-
trauma. You
Yeah,
gotta say
well,
trauma.
well, I was gonna say
You're
trauma.
Gonna say trauma.
Here's what I'm gonna say: true horror fans will sit through the most god awful B movies that
I
you've
can-
ever watched in your life,
that,
Squirm.
okay.
and then eventually you will find
What?
the thing.
Saw
What- shut-
Squirm at the theater.
There you go.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah,
I
saw
love
it at the
Squirm.
drive-in
Yeah.
theater.
Oh, Squirm.
When it first came out,
Linda
76.
Lowry, and she's naked. And she does this fucking lesbian scene.
Worth it.
Yeah, I met Linda
I saw
Lowry.
Squirm at the
Squirm. Oh, Linda Lowry's in Squirm, and I had a good time because they get it's like, and they have a sex romp in the end because Squirm is like this parasite that infests you and makes you want to have sex with people. And yeah, it's pretty good. That's I had a moment there. Yeah, it's good times. Linda Lowry, you're out. You know you're a gilf, but I'm gonna fuck you next time I see you. But anyway, I'll
Don't
tell you
forget
what.
The Blob.
No, the Blob, 1950.
I always
yeah,
thought that-
1950.
what was
They're
it?
having
The-
Blobfest,
the
but the thing
remake.
is, I won't go because they're having social distancing.
We should
Blobfest.
go to
I
we should
can't
go
do that.
to the Killer Tomatoes run that they do.
Oh, I'll
down
do
in,
it. Yeah, but they're
wherever
social
that was.
distancing and shit.
The problem
yeah.
is the blob now
You
can only
remember-
be 6 feet wide.
Do you ever-
Exactly.
do
Yeah,
you ever-
only
get
6
any
feet
bigger than
wide.
6
Can't do
feet
it.
wide.
You ever talk to Gerald?
No, well, hold on for a second.
Yeah.
They're doing a Blob Fest from your house because they have to social distance. Fuck that. Fuck you.
You ever talk to Gerald?
I don't know who Gerald is, but I'm sure
he
he's
used to come into the Capitol.
the black guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Um,
was gonna say because if I said
Fan-
black guy really quick, everyone would hate me.
yeah, but that's
Yeah,
the
because
best way
he
to describe it.
knows he has lists of all that
yeah,
shit.
and I mean his movie collection is phenomenal.
He was a very
graduated
nice
in,
guy.
I think he graduated high school like
75 or something like that. He
I
was
think
older.
than that.
He was older.
Well, he's older than me then.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's an older
Yeah,
guy, but he's
I
very
think he graduated in
nice.
like the
Very, very
early
nice.
70s. But
I didn't think
you want to
anybody
talk?
was older.
You want to talk? You want to talk?
I'm
older,
close.
You want to talk older movies and like especially horror and sci-fi genre?
Yeah,
That dude knows where it's at. You know what? We should get. I'll get a hold of Gerald. We should do something sometime.
I have
and
no
we'll
problem.
we'll have-
I
we'll
mean,
have
he
Gerald
was
on.
very
Great.
nice.
And
Because
and
I was
knows
at the
his
Capitol.
shit. He
He
knows
was
his
very-
shit too.
He was a very, very nice
very
guy.
unsuspecting. He actually just got a tattoo of Gil.
Oh, that's
Well, it's actually
Gil
it's a
from
little
the
old.
Hell-
It's a little but the fucking
Hellboy.
No, Creature of the Black Lagoon.
Oh yeah,
like,
Gil.
That Gil.
Yeah, Gil.
Um,
I met him, by the way.
no shit.
Yeah.
But
And I met Julie Adams the same time. She was so nice.
That's
She
cool.
she liked to finger my spikes, and she goes, "Oh, they look pointy."
But-
I guess they are.
But I think it'd be.
I
cool
have
to
a picture with
have
Julie
Joe
Adams
here because
myself.
I think he would give a good insight into.
That's good. I like
because
that. That's
you're
good.
talking to a guy, he graduated like early-ish 70s,
Mm-hmm.
and
Well, hello, Hannah, too. These are running and duns though. They're just boom boom.
but he had a good he would have a very good insight into a whole era of films that
Right,
we didn't
right.
get to experience the way he did,
Yes.
or even experience at all. Because
I-
he's talked to me about
no, you
movies
know
that
what?
I'm like I don't even know what the hell movie you're
Let-
talking about.
It
man.
doesn't matter how old I am right now or how old you are.
Yeah.
We did not experience
No.
80s films
No,
because
no, we
80s, 70s, 80s. Once 1989 happened, films died.
Yeah, I mean, overall,
Let's face it, folks. Who experienced Nosferatu?
Oh my God!
Hey, come on.
Could you imagine what people saw when they saw Nosferatu grab her heart and kill
Right,
her?
yeah.
Like, I don't even know. I just don't even know. It's just stupid.
Yeah.
It's just stupid. But at the same time, like, once you have a home format, once you have a format that you can take to your home or record it later, which is the 80s, right?
Mhm.
You're done. You're done. It's
Yeah.
done. It's done. You're done. It's done.
Yeah.
You'll never have that format again. You'll never have that visceral right when you see it format again. And the thing is, and this is what I try to say, Jim Cornette says it quite a bit about wrestling too, and I understand it. It's the same thing. Okay, we have a guy and he used a table. Now the table's on fire. Now the table's covered with thumbtacks on fire. Now the table's covered with razor wire on fire. Like, who cares after a while?
the need to
Nope.
always
Yeah, if you
build,
up yourself
build.
every time, who cares? It's supposed to be something that you don't see all the time, and that's why it's important. So, and I remember being a kid, going to Danville. Actually, I saw the Bushwhackers in Berwick, and then I went to Danville. I saw The Undertaker, Psycho Sid, Mankind, Bret Hart.
Oh wow.
Oh my good God! That was the only time that I can remember on record I lost my voice from screaming.
I did it at an Alice Cooper concert.
There you go. Yeah,
At
yeah,
the Kirby Center.
I
Yeah.
would
I
still
think
love
that
to go
counts.
see Alice Cooper.
I think that counts.
yeah. Here's a time I'm gonna
You know
play
why?
this. I've been
I
waiting
lost my
for
voice because I love the dead.
this. I know that. I am going to play, not Movie God, because you said you aren't ready for this. I'm gonna play Music God.
Okay.
John Mellencamp or Bon Jovi,
John Mellencamp.
and one that you pick has to die.
I would pick John Mellencamp over Bon Jovi. I think.
Yeah, I hate John Mellencamp.
I
Bon
have a rough time
Jovi?
with Bon Jovi. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like Slippery When Wet or Crossroads album wasn't too
No,
bad.
fuck
but,
Bon Jovi.
But I would
So
definitely go.
John Mellencamp's dead. Okay.
Oh, yeah,
now your
I-
turn
I meant for the person that I would pick, like as I like
to
more.
die.
No, well, no. I think I.
So okay,
It's hard.
John Bon Jovi or John Mellencamp, which one dies?
Yeah. Probably Bon Jovi.
Yeah, that's.
He
I
has
think
to
that's
drive.
Really?
I think
He
that's
has
the way
to
I'd go.
drive in traffic in Jersey.
Okay,
He's
there
probably
you go.
gonna die anyway.
Okay. So, Poison or John Mellencamp?
You know, I'm a dreamer, and so I'm gonna go with Mellencamp because I like that song.
He
better.
he lives.
Mellencamp lives.
You gotta
No.
pick the one who dies. So Poison dies.
No, Mellencamp dies.
Mellencamp dies.
Poison.
John
Because you know.
Poison or Mellencamp?
Yeah.
You know I'm a dreamer.
Jesus Christ.
That
But
I love.
Mellencamp did.
I love that song.
Oh well, you do your thing. I mean, you can take as much time as you want. I have to take a piss anyway.
The fuck. Mellencamp or Poison. It's one of the weirdest questions I think I've ever been asked.
Oh, stick around, folks. The night's young.
Yeah,
It's gonna
Jesus
get
Christ.
worse from
Oh,
here.
it's gonna get weirder.
Who did die? Poison or Mellencamp?
Yeah.
I don't like hair metal. I'm going Mellencamp. I want my Poison dies. I'm siding on Mellencamp, just because
Mellencamp.
I'm still
or-
siding on Mellencamp.
Okay, so Mellencamp or
Well, all right, that's your question then. I guess Poison or Skid Row for you, and Mellencamp or Skid Row for me.
No, it's Mellencamp or
Well,
Skid Row.
well, your dad said.
No, you killed him, so he's dead.
Well, yeah, but your dad said Poison survived.
Okay,
so
well,
like
then-
two
then
separate
I will
questions,
have
but I
to
guess
go
it's against
with,
Skid Row.
Motley Crue or Skid Row?
Motley Crue or Skid Row for you.
Well, who did?
Probably.
Because I don't know the difference.
Yeah,
They're all
neither do
the
I.
same to me.
Yeah, Motley Crue or Skid Row. Skid Row has
I don't listen to that stuff. Anyway.
Motley Crue.
so just say Skid Row and say
Just
fuck
say
it.
Skid Row. Yeah.
Okay, then he picked Skid Row.
Yeah, I'd pick Skid Row to go on that.
Motley
one.
Crue. Motley Crue or Dawkins. Because then you lose.
Yeah, Dawkins influenced a lot of shit though, man. Like,
Yeah.
you got
See, I don't know
like
anything about
Motley
this
Crue's
stuff.
got to go if you're talking Motley Crue or Dawkins. I
Motley
think.
Crue or
I mean, don't get me
Dawkins.
wrong, Motley Crue is fucking Motley Crue.
I'm sure
but
Mom would. If Mom was here, she would.
She would be.
chime
Brenda would be way better at this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm terrible. at this stuff.
than either of us are. I think.
Okay, Motley
I don't know any
Crue,
hair
and then
bands.
so Dawkins wins. So
I
Dawkins
do
is
know
what?
Warrant.
Warrant.
She's my cherry pie.
Okay, Dawkins or Warrant.
I'm still going with Doc. I'm still going with
You lose.
Warrant dies. I'm still going. I'm picking the winner. Whatever band I say is the winner. I'm saying
Dawkins was the winner.
I'm saying Dawkins is the winner out of
Okay.
those two.
Dawkins or Warrant. What do you
Oh,
want?
Dawkins. I guess go with Dawkins.
Dawkins, that's good. Dawkins or Great White.
You know what? I'm gonna say.
I can't-
I'm
I
gonna
can't
say
think of
Great
it.
White is gone
Okay.
because of the fire. They
And the
started.
fire. That was at least they're metal. They actually
I
kill
know
people.
Uncle Tim just won't even listen to them
Okay.
anymore because of
Okay.
the fires.
Dawkins or Kansas.
Dawkins done. I'm going with Kansas.
Oh, you're going.
I'm
you
going-
picked the
I'm-
winner last time.
I know. I did. I
Kansas,
know, but like I was immediately, it's like
I
Dawkins
gotta
gone.
go
Like that
with
was the thought. Like I'm
gotta
going.
go
I'm
with
going Kansas, man.
Kansas or yes?
Oh, I'll just take. I'll eliminate Kansas.
I was
Go
gonna
with
say
yes.
you're going for yes.
Yeah,
Roundabout.
Kansas or yes? What are you doing?
Oh.
I'm gonna go with yes because that's
You know what?
my nature.
I'm
And
having
it's
a
okay if you eliminate yes.
I'm having a hard time, but like
because you
it-
know
it-
Kansas
yeah,
more.
yeah, but in that situation, I'll defer to your. If your dad's saying yes is the
Yes,
winner, I
yes.
gotta go with yes. If your
Yes.
dad's saying yes is the winner, I'm
So you
saying
went for
I'm
yes?
saying, yeah, I mean,
Yes or the Who?
Well,
I'm gonna keep the Who.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep
I'm
the
gonna
Who also.
the Who's alive.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who is alive? That's nice. I like that.
Otherwise,
That's
there's
good.
no.
Oh
Quadrophenia.
wait, can I jump in here real quick?
Yeah.
The Who or the Guess Who?
The Who.
I'm still gonna go with the Who.
Who or Led Zeppelin?
Well, I'm gonna keep Led Zeppelin.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Oh,
because I saw Zeppelin at the
wait,
Spectrum.
I gotta,
in 75.
I gotta. Wait.
I'd rather
And I'm
keep
the only one
Who,
that can
honestly.
say that right here.
Okay. Yeah, you got it. Yeah.
I was
there you
still in
go.
high school when I saw Zeppelin.
All right, wait a
Yeah.
second here, because
Yeah.
I gotta
You
think
know,
about this
you
one.
know, yeah,
I gotta think
that's
about
a
this
hard
one.
Oh
choice.
yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Because Led Zeppelin's a Zeppelin,
Mm-hmm.
and the Who is the Who.
And
The
then,
Who is the
you know.
Who. That's right.
That one.
Maybe I went too quick too
that
soon.
one.
I
That
don't
one
know.
is not easy at all. I don't.
Yeah, maybe I went too quick too
because-
soon.
How many more times
Because
are you gonna ask this question?
because I can't even tell you the number of times I've sat almost in this exact spot and listened to Quadrophenia.
You know, there's a raccoon and I don't even care.
God,
There's a raccoon and I don't even care.
Quadrophenia, man.
Little bear.
There he is.
Yeah, he can eat.
Is he eating?
He's gonna eat.
Yeah, I'll let him eat him up, man. I'll give him later.
I was wondering why that fox ran off, but that raccoon will run him off.
Phew, Jesus Christ.
That doesn't matter.
Let's
face it.
It's hard. I mean, because you
No,
know,
this is goddamn
Bono.
music god.
because
You know, it's funny. Both drummers are dead.
Because
you
you
know?
know, but you know, you got
and even
because you got-
Ed Trussell dead has died too.
Where's
Died.
my beer?
you know what?
Oh, I drank it.
I think I'm gonna go for the winner as the Who,
Yeah,
just because
sure.
Quadrophenia
Okay,
is such an
so the
amazing
Who
album.
wins and the Led Zeppelin wins. Okay, that's cool.
I think so. I think they
So
both win.
let's go a different way. The Who or Led Zeppelin, whatever. Let's kind of figure out where we're at. We did Kansas. Now
Yeah.
we have to do Three Dog Night. Where are we going? The Who or Three Dog Night, or the Led Zeppelin or Three Dog Night, because I prefer Three Dog Night so much more.
Yeah, there's Three Dog Night's great.
Three
Yeah.
Dog Night is great.
And
man.
if you pick them, they never existed.
Let's
Yeah.
just you know, we'll keep Three Dog Night.
Oh,
We'll just keep Three Dog Night.
that is
and-
good.
and
'Cause
all-
honestly,
all-
I
you know
agree with
Why
you.
don't we all agree
Well,
on
you know what?
Three
I,
Dog Night?
you know,
We're
I'll
gonna
agree.
keep Three Dog
I'll
Night.
agree with Three Dog Night.
And
I'll agree with
Three
Three
Dog-
Dog Night.
let's-
I feel like
hey,
I have
I'll
a
tell you
harder
what.
time.
Let's Three Dogs agree on Three Dog
And
Night.
Three Dogs.
I have a harder time choosing between Three Dog Night and the Who than I do having.
Because
a
I
hard-
listened
than-
to Three
than I
Dog
do,
Night just as
Three
much
Dog
as I
Night
did
and
to
Led
Zeppelin when I was
Because-
growing up.
Yeah.
Because for me, Three Dog
Three
Night,
Dog?
Three Dog and Led Zeppelin is Three Dog every time. Three Dog and the Who, I have a harder time, but I'm still gonna go Three Dog.
Three Dog or Fleetwood?
Oh God, get rid of Fleetwood.
Yeah,
that's
I
good.
mean-
that's good.
Yeah,
Three
I'm
Dog,
with that. I
Three
do like some
Dog,
Fleetwood.
Three
stuff,
Dog,
but-
Three Dog, Three Dog, or Jim Morrison.
I'm gonna get rid of Jim Morrison. I don't care.
Yeah.
See, I listen to a lot of the Doors. When I was
Yeah.
younger. I have a hard time with this one
Uh,
because the Doors was really like my big foray into like getting into classic rock and everything.
And it's like that. What do you call it? You know, when they die so young, they have a
Yeah.
lot more
I mean,
impact.
at this point in my life, I like Three Dog a lot more than I like Morrison.
Okay.
So
So you get rid of-
I'm still gonna go. I'm still gonna go
Three Dog.
I'm gonna go
Three
with Three Dog.
Dog. Three Dog or Three Dog Night? Three Dog Night or Black Sabbath?
I'm gonna keep Black Sabbath.
All right.
Me too, actually. Me too.
I'm gonna
Black,
keep Black
Sabbath, or
because
Alice Cooper?
I'm gonna keep Alice Cooper. I like Alice Cooper.
Yeah, we'll go with Cooper, I guess.
Cooper?
Yeah,
Cooper?
I'm
Cooper?
I'm like
That's all right.
I'm like
Whatever.
I'm like 55,
I mean,
45.
all these
for-
bands, I used to
for
listen
Cooper.
the hell out of them.
Yeah. Yeah. So, Cooper
But I'll tell
or
you what.
Megadeth?
Oh, I'm keeping Cooper.
So I think so. Keep Cooper.
Okay. Cooper or Metallica?
For me, it's
Wait,
easy.
old Metallica or new Metallica?
All Metallica. All
Then
Metallica.
Cooper.
Cooper. Oh wow.
I'll take
is-
Cooper. Look, I fucking love the album One. I love the
But I'll
Black
tell you what.
Album. I love
Cooper-
Master of
The
Puppets.
questions
but like,
you're asking mean you have good taste.
Yeah.
yeah.
I can say that.
Cooper or Rush?
I'm keeping Rush.
Yep. Rush. I'm keeping
gonna
Rush
keep
also.
Rush.
That's
I'm keeping Rush also. Rush is
Rush
hard to
or
top.
CCR?
You know, I'm going to keep CCR.
CCR.
There's that.
I'm so
there's that-
conflicted within myself.
Because I was
about this
12 years old
shit.
when I started listening
Yeah,
to that. When
I'm
Suzy Q
so
came out. Yeah.
conflicted with this stuff because, like, I like Rush
that was
now
also good,
so
you know?
much more than I like. Well, not so much more than I like CCR, but like
I like
still
CCR
love
way
CCR.
more than I like Rush.
But like,
Oh,
you know,
sure,
me
I get
of
it. Yeah,
me
yeah.
of 15 years ago was like way more into CCR than I ever was into Rush. So it's like very fucking conflicting. It's hard as shit.
That's why I
Nah,
like
man,
movie
you know, we like all these,
I like
but we love them all though.
Yeah.
You know, we love
Yeah.
them all.
Yeah.
I did that with one guy that was between Megadeth and Metallica. He got Megadeth and Slayer.
You know what?
He got very upset.
You know what? I'm gonna go with
That
CCR.
raccoon's not even phased.
I'm gonna go
No, they don't get.
Yeah.
I'm
I
gonna
don't care.
keep CCR.
CCR.
I'm gonna keep
CCR is the winner of movie God.
movie
That's
or
pretty
music
good.
god.
Music God, Music God. That's pretty good. That was a good time. I didn't think I didn't think I'd get you guys to
Well,
where I
you
got
pulled it off.
I
I'll
pulled
tell you
it
that.
off. That was pretty good. I thought
Okay, we'll be
it's-
right back after
we'll
these
be right
messages.
back after these messages. Yeah, that was pretty good.
That was pretty
movie
good.
God
Yeah, it
was
was
pretty
good.
You know
good.
what game I used to enjoy? We used to play this game. One of my buddies know back introduced me to it. It was you pick 3 movies, right?
Yeah.
And well, you pick an actor
Mm-hmm.
and you name 3 movies that the actor's been in,
All right.
and then
Or is it 3 levels of Kevin Bacon?
well, kind of, and then you have to like you name the movies.
Oh,
I'm
you have
like
to
I'm like
connect
this
them or
movie, this
something?
movie,
Yeah.
this movie, and you have to name the actor that's in all
Oh,
of them.
yeah.
Uh,
I don't know if I'd be good at that,
Which
but
I
throw it
always,
at me.
which I always thought was enjoyable. Like one of my favorites was let's see here. It was
Throw it at me.
Terminator.
Oh
Bill
yeah,
Paxton.
that was excellent.
It was Terminator. It was
I
Alien.
thought
Bill
Linda
Paxton.
Hamilton was beautiful in that movie.
and
Predator, Bill Paxton.
yeah, it was
I
very
mean,
cool.
I do. Anyway.
Because you know, like you can start naming some of these. There's 2 actors as the main, but like that guy's got like a cameo in one of them. Or like
Right,
this or
right,
that,
right.
like,
Yeah,
there's
they
all-
weren't main people. Yeah.
Mhm.
Terminator, Predator, and Alien are all Bill Paxton.
Yeah.
And then you
One
go,
movie was just Kindergarten Cop.
Oh,
Kindergarten Cop.
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
It's not the tumor.
It's not a tumor. Ugh. Ow.
Dad, you got the big one. No, I'm not big enough.
It looks pretty big.
That's the female. Yeah, it's a little smaller. The other one's a lot bigger.
Yeah. One's more of a bull. Here's a question. So the next, what is it? Maniacs.me. What movie are we thinking?
Well, we need to do all the run of John Russo because we need to do a homage to John Russo.
Okay.
And I just bought My Uncle John's a Zombie. They just released, so it's going to be
Right.
horrible, and I can't wait to do it.